Cool. So yes, my name's Genevieve. I'm from Refine Wiki, and here with me today I have our support and test manager, Maria Hay, and we're going to take you through our most recent product, RefinedTheme for Jira Service Desk. And Maria knows this product like the back of her hand, so there's no better person to take you through the ins and outs of the product. And before we go into the details, just assuming that most of you haven't really seen much about this product before, this is what you will be familiar with. So what you can see on the screen now is vanilla Jira Service Desk. And with our add-on, what we do is we add customization, we enable you to represent your brand, and we also change around the content with the aim of having a really neat user interface. So what it could look like is what you can see on your screen now. So I'm going to hand over to Maria, and we'll actually just change screens, and she will take you through the nitty-gritty details that you really want to hear. So let me just find Maria and let's connect her. Hello, Maria, are you with us?
Okay, so I'll show you how to set up RefinedTheme in Jira Service Desk. And the first thing you do is you set up Jira Service Desk as you normally would. Any settings you make in Jira Service Desk will be applied when you use RefinedTheme as well. The thing that RefinedTheme for Jira Service Desk changes is that when the customer visits the portal, it will show RefinedTheme instead of the default look that the customers have in Jira Service Desk. When you're visiting Jira Service Desk as an admin, you will see a new section in the add-ons in the administrative UI. You will see an edit pen on each portal page. And this is where you make the changes to make the portal look like you want. As an agent, there are no changes because this is primarily for the customer, the way the customer perceives the portal. So today we're going to look at how to set it up, what you can do to customize our product to make it look as you want it to, how to set up the self-service, and what up-and-coming features we have. But let's start. So I'll be working from my browser window. And when you once you start Jira Service Desk, this is what it looks like. You have the Help Center, which is the main landing page, and you have the different support desks or service desk projects over here. I'll go over to my other tab here, where I have in the administration section, I have add-ons, and once you install RefinedTheme, you have this configuration over here. The configuration currently consists of 3 tabs. It's the general configuration where you set up the things that will be applied in a global way. So you set whether you should use the global theming or not. You set what theme you should use, the help center name, and so on. There's also a quick help button here. If you want to visit the help center from what the customer sees, just use that button to access it quickly. The second tab you have is the service desk. And here, any service desk or support project that you have set up and that you are able to see either as an agent or an administrator will show up here. So if you're an admin who can't see a customer, a service desk as a customer, it won't be here. But you have settings for it. You can add a theme to a specific service desk. And as you can see now, we have no theming because the global theming is not on yet. The last tab is the themes. And here you have, this comes bundled with about 4 themes. It's these 4. And you can easily create your own ones that will show up here as well. You create them down here. And if you have a setup where you have a test server and a production server, you can create your theme in the test server and then export it from there and import it to here, and it will show up in your other servers. You can work into setups. If I turn on in the general configuration, I can turn on the global theming. I will get a notification that it's actually on. If I go to my other tab where I have the customer look of everything and I update this window, it will now be themed. Let me move this down here. And whenever I'm logged in as an administrator, which is the case now, throughout this tutorial, I will be logged in as Cecilia, and I can see that up here. As she is an administrator, she will also see this edit pen over here, and this is where you change the portal page the way that it's set up. So right now we have the search and we have a few other things down here. And if I click the pen, I will see the layout in an editorial way. So I have search and I have the two other modules down here. But let's start by creating a theme. So by creating if I want to create a theme, I will go to the theme tab and I will click create theme down here. I want mine to be called Star Theme. And when I click create, the theme editor will be opened. And if you're familiar with our other products, you will recognize the theme editor. It looks a little bit different depending on what platform you're on, but it's basically the same setup. Up here, we have theme tab and history tab. And the history is whenever you save a theme, it will create a version. So if you save frequently, you can always go back and look at the changes you've made. But since this is a new one, we don't have any history yet. So let's start by making the main appearance here. I can choose, I will collapse all of this to make it a little bit more visual. So I have three settings I can do. I can either do a top, which is basically a header and a footer. I can do the partial one, where the color section comes down to about half. And I can do a full one, where it covers the entire thing. For my theme today, I want to choose the middle one. And I'll start with adding a picture to the header. If you ever wonder what part you're making changes to, you can always hover the little blob out here, and it will show you what you're editing. And there you have the footer. The content here does not have one, and that's because this is quite visual in the preview area, what's being changed. So here I've added the wings. But for this one, I just want to keep it plain and simple. So let me start by adding an image to the header. I expand the header, I go to background, and I change it to image. It turns white because I have not selected an image yet. I choose a file, and I want my starry sky. And as soon as it has the blue surrounding here, it's actually chosen. For some of the options, you will have the possibility to position an image. And if I click this one, I can choose whether I want to show the lower part of the image or the upper part of the image by using this slider. I want to use the upper part of the image, so I'll keep it here and save. As you may notice now, the font is quite hard to read, so I want to change that as well. So I go to the font color and I make it a little lighter. If I want to, I can make it transparent, but that would not show it at all, so I'll keep it like this. And then I'll make a save to create a version I can restore to. That's basically it for the header. Moving on to the body, I also want to add an image here. So I'll change the option for background to image. And as I've already uploaded the image to the header part, it will be available here as well. So I'll choose this one and click done. I also have the option to position the image here, but as you will see when I click this one, this image has a proportion. It's very wide, but it's not as high. So I can't really position it because it doesn't make sense. So I can't do anything here. And if you ever run into that, that's the reason why. But that's about it for the body. I want my footer to be a little bit lighter, so I'll expand that one. It's the lower part down here. and I'll change it to a light gray. I want it to have, the font color I'm quite satisfied with, but I want it to have a border, and I want that color to be a little lighter, like that. And I'll save again. As you may notice now, I get sort of a line up here because I have the header image and I have the body image, and I don't think that looks so good. So I'm actually going to change the header. I'll remove the image by setting a color, which doesn't look good, but I'll make the color transparent. That means that the image that's in the background will be visible all the way up, and I'll get rid of the line separating the two parts. So now I'm satisfied with how this looks. Over here on the right side, you have two other options. You have the customer portal and you have the request page. And this is so that you can preview what the different parts of JSD looks like. So for the customer portal, I can either change the width of the content. Let's say I want it to be 100%. That means that it goes all the way out to the sides. But I actually want to have it all the way up to the sides and all the way up to the top. So I'll choose the fill background, which makes the portal go all the way up here. I can also choose where to have the title, if I want it left, right, or center, but I'll keep it center here. And whenever you make a change, you will have a little asterisk here showing that you've made changes. So I'll save that one, and the asterisk goes away. For the request page, I think it looks good, so I'll stop here. Once I'm done, I click done, and I have a new theme here with a preview. To make this theme the global theme, I go back to the General Configuration tab, and I change the theme for my new star theme. I get a confirmation that the changes has been saved, and I go back to this one, update the page, and there you go. My star theme is applied. The next thing I want to change is the way the portal is set out. So I'll go, now I'm actually on the Help Center. You can always look up here to see the breadcrumbs of where you're at. I'll click the Edit pen because I want to have this like this, and when you install it, it comes with this mount any picture, and that's just to show you that you can change it. So the background image for this portion, the modules, I want it to be the sky as well. Now this is uploaded here because I've done this, I've practiced the demonstration, so that's why it's here. Otherwise, you just browse and upload the picture and it will be there. I'll choose this one, click done, save the module, which is this one here, and then I'll save the entire thing. And I have my stars over here as well. I also want to change one of my service desks. So I go to one of the service desks, which is called the customer support desk. I can see here that I'm at another part of the portal. I'll click the edit pen because I want to keep the same picture here. So I'm doing what I did before, choosing the sky picture, clicking done, save it, and save the entire portal page. And there you go. The next thing I want to do is that I have, if you can see, I have 5 columns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually want it set up a little bit different. So I go into edit mode again. I'll check the request type modules down here. And I'll change this to a 3 instead. And whenever you have a question, we have this information eyes where you can click and read more. And you can also learn more in our documentation. But I'll choose 3 columns and I'll save. And then I'll save the entire portal again. And now, as you can see, I have 3 ones instead. I actually have one more thing I want to change. So I'll take this URL and I'll copy it. And then I go back to the Help Center. Right now I have the popular service desk over here and I have the recent support requests over here. But I don't want it to be like that. So I'll edit the page I remove this entire section, or at least I thought I would. I'll remove this one. Wait. There you go. I'll remove this one and this one. Now I have to move this again. And I'll add a new module. So what I've done is that I removed whatever was there and I'll add a module. I choose navigation icon. I'll add a title, which is the customer support desk. I'll enter the text I just copied from the other portal. And I'll choose an icon over here. Since this is a customer support portal, I want this icon. And I want it to be a nice shade of, I don't want that blue. I want it to be like this. That's a nice color. And I'll actually make it medium sized. And then I'll save it. And I now have another thing I can add. For each section you have, you can add a title. And for this one, I want to add a title to this section. So I add a title and a lower text. I save it. And I have a confirmation that it's actually here. And then I'll save the entire page. And I now have an icon instead. And the thing about these icons is that you can either upload an image of your choice. You can choose one of the icons that we provided for you. And you can add a title. You can add links to external content, internal content, and so on. So you can do a lot of things with this. The last thing I want to show you is the extended self-service. So when you have the search highlight here, if I click and search, I will get the request here. And if I have a knowledge base set up, I will get hits there. But what we want to do is we want to search more than that. So I'll edit the search highlights. And down here you have knowledge base. It's currently default JSD settings, but I want it custom settings. I want to search Confluence pages and I want to search Confluence questions. And in order for this to work, I actually need to set up an application link to my Confluence. So I'll go back to my other tab where I'm in the administrative section. Now I need to enter my password, but I'll click the Applications tab. So in the applications, you can set up application links. And depending on your setup and the customer setups, wherever you do this, you can use whatever you want here. I'm using OF and I'll copy the URL here. Now I'm going back to the edit portal page where I'll enter the application link. If I leave spaces empty, it will search the entire Confluence. If I enter space keys from Confluence, it will search these spaces. But I want to search everything, so I'll keep it like this. I'll save, and I make a search again. And now I have articles, questions, and I also have the file request. And the last thing I want to show you is what it looks like on the request page. I currently have 2 requests. So I go to one of them. And if I enter a comment here, this is a comment. It will show up over here. And also anything that an agent or an admin adds will be there as well. So that's basically it. So it's quite easy, and I encourage you to install it and play around with it because you can't go wrong. And if you have any questions, you can always contact us. Let's see. So for the up and coming features that we have planned, we will have a Q&A. So if you have any questions, just hold on for a little while. But for the version 1.1 that we're currently working on, we will have mobile responsiveness, which means that it will also look good on a mobile platform or mobile device. We will also be adding recommended links, which is basically where you can set keywords and you can point them towards the URL that you recommend. So if I search for, I will actually show you. If I go to our support page, and if I search for pricing, these are the recommended links that we've hard-coded in. So if anyone searched for pricing, we've added a URL here, which will take the user to the marketplace listing. So that's the recommended links. And we will be adding languages, which those are. You can contact us if you're interested in which languages we'll be adding. And we'll also be adding a feature to add custom CSS, which is, as it always is with custom CSS, that you can add it and you need to fix it yourself in case it breaks. And then we'll go over to Q&A.
Yes.
And I will return to you, Jen.
Thanks, Maria. Awesome. So if anyone has any questions right now, just enter them into the chat. You should see at the bottom of your GoToMeeting control panel. Yeah, okay, I can already see one there from Betsy. So when customizing the search widget, can it search multiple but not all Confluence pages? Can it search all spaces with a given category? So I'm going to throw that over to you, Maria.
Currently, there is no setting for searching a specific category, in the sense that we have categories. The RefinedTheme for Confluence introduces categories, and you cannot make a connection to a specific category. So it's for spaces. So if you want to search every space except for one, you would need to enter the key for everyone, every key for the space except for the one that you don't want to search. But if you leave it empty, it will search the entire Confluence. I hope that answers the question.
Good question there. No other questions coming in, I don't think. Oh, yeah, here we go. Thanks, Vijay. So when we're searching for a page from Confluence, does it open in a new tab and ask to log into Confluence?
Good question. Actually, the first time you make a search, I will go back to the browser window here. And we will go over here and go back to the Help Center. The first time you search here, if I have the OAuth configuration on my application link, that means that the first time I do the search, it will ask me to authenticate so that it can search both of them. If you, for instance, have anonymous set up on both sides, you can do that as well, and you can do the impersonation search to make it search as if you were that person. But the first time you do this, there will be a small screen asking you to authenticate for both Confluence and this one, so that it knows that it's you making the searches.
Great.
Hi, so this is Emil from RefinedWiki as well. I can add to that as well. This behavior is that Maria just describes is if you're using the custom settings, and there is a default Jira Service Desk setting as well, and then it's behaving exactly as the default. So it will open up the knowledge base in a pop-up and have the same authentication as the default Jira Service Desk is using.
All right, great. Do we have any other questions? Nope, can't see any coming in there. But if you do have any further questions, you're welcome to email us. Either you can email me, so that's Genevieve@refinedwiki.com. refinedwiki.com, that's right. Or we've always got our support service. And Maria herself is the one answering the support questions. And I can tell you there's no better person to tell you how it works. But yeah, so thanks very much everyone for coming today, and I'll be sure to send you this recording. But yeah, have a lovely day and thanks for connecting.